Hail, brothers and sisters. Welcome back. I hope you've been well. Our last video covered some of the gruesome event of Charlie Kirk's assassination, and there is much more that has been revealed about that case that I will cover in the future. That video was partially titled The Rape of America. And today we are going to talk about the rape of the UK, as well as the revolution that is stirring there within the hearts of the patriots that live there and call that land their home. Now, when I say that this is the rape of the UK, I mean this in a much more literal sense than I had meant it previously. Much of Europe is facing similar problems that the UK is having, but many of these problems have been imported. And what do I mean by imported problems? I mean the violent migrant rape and grooming gangs that have been polluting the streets of the once beautiful country and beautiful continent. The UK government has been infected by globalist ideas and has essentially opened up their borders to third worlders, and their people have suffered as a result of this. Much of the increase in sexual crime, knife violence, and theft is attributed to the high influx of the peoples from India and Pakistan into the UK. The cultures from these two countries are radically different than that of the UK. When you bring in lawless third worlders to a first world country, what do you think will happen? There is a young girl, a 14-year-old girl that has become the symbol of defiance and resistance in the UK against migrant crime for defending her younger sister with a knife and an axe from a Muslim man that had failed to riz up her younger 12-year-old sister. He would have tried to assault this young girl. Let us take a look at what had happened. This young girl, this hero that is defending her younger sister, her 12-year-old sister. Remind you that this girl is 14 years old and is defending her family against a migrant sexual criminal. Let's take a watch here. These girls are in obvious distress.
Yes, you have a knife. Why are you fucking me up? Show the knife. 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 That's it. That's it.
So listen here. Throughout this whole video, he is going through and he knows that the UK that had passed a law banning knives or ninja swords or something like that, right? Banning knives, bladed weapons.
Show the knife. Show the knife. That's it.
Do you hear how pained their screams are? How in fear that these young girls are from this Muslim man here?
Yeah, show the knife. Maratha.
Well, you see, this girl, there's so much wrong here. So much wrong here. Now, if we go and take a look at what is happening, I mean, like I said, this girl is trying with her life to defend her younger sister. She is a hero for her family. She should be praised. She should not be, as we will find out, that she had been jailed for this incident. Now, when you think about that, that is a pretty fucking backwards, isn't it? Isn't it ridiculous that the government is going through and identifying this situation here and says, yes, this assailant is actually not the assailant, and it is this heroic girl that is actually the villain here, the one that is the perpetrator, the one that is breaking the law by brandishing these knives. And this guy, he knows this. He knows that he'll be able to get away with this. And that's one of the most disgusting parts of this whole situation that is going on in the UK, is that so many of these people, these migrants, are doing whatever the fuck they want because they believe that their government will do nothing to stop them. And largely, this is true. We see many situations like this where these migrant people are coming in and bringing their third world cultures in with them and violating the peoples of the UK. Now, like I said, the crazy thing here is, if you don't know, is that the girl, this young 14-year-old hero girl, was the one that got arrested here, not the actual criminal. The UK, with whatever bullshit is going on with their law, they recently outlawed the possession of certain types of knives and ninja swords, and it was in an effort to quell knife violence in the country. Now, do you see any ninjas in the UK? Probably not. The only ninjas you probably see are the migrant ninjas that are poisoning the country that they are invading. Many of the peoples of these two countries have cultures that do not shame sexual harassment, assault, rape, or the general mistreatment of women. And women of any age, as we see. If you take a look in these countries, both of them have serious issues with child marriage. India has the highest number of child brides in the entire world. And Pakistan is not far below them. What do you think these disgusting men of these cultures are doing with these children? There is no way. I feel so bad for these children that are living in these despicable cultures where they are so vulnerable to, for one, STIs, like the sexual infections, violence, and losing the rest of their lives to probably some old crusty man. Why, that is fucking disgusting. If they're going to do this in their homeland, they move into the UK or anywhere else in the whole world, and they do not try to assimilate into the new culture, which is what should be done with anywhere you go, wherever you are from. What do you think they will continue to do? Rape women and children. That's what they'll do. And that's what they'll continue to do unless this is stopped. Obviously, this is not applicable to all Indians and Pakistanis because not all of them are like this. But when cultures of such great differences clash like this, the resulting impact is going to be insane. Especially in a place like the UK, where they so often defend the assailant instead of the victim for whatever ridiculous evil reasons. To prime you and to give you some context as to what is really happening here in the UK and much of Europe, I have a couple videos for us to go ahead and go watch, okay? So this first one is from this channel, Wion. He is talking about the UK grooming gangs. Despicable things. Let's go ahead and watch this.
Grooming involves perpetrators first winning the trust of their victims by building a relationship with their victims and their families and friends to make them seem trustworthy or authoritative. Once they establish a rapport, they lure their victims into engaging in sexual acts and criminal activities, after which they are blackmailed and a vicious cycle of abuse follows. Children, mostly girls as young as 11, have been victims of sexual abuse by grooming gangs. They are raped, trafficked, abducted and beaten up. One particular case that shocked the entire world was the Rotherham scandal. It started in the late 1980s and went on till the 2010s. It was proof of the failure of authorities and law enforcement agencies in acting against abuse. The prime accused in this scandal is the Hussain brothers, who are British men of Pakistani origin. The victims were forced to perform sexual acts, often on several men at a time, and were forced to store weapons and drugs for the gang. Sammy Woodhouse was a victim of the Rotherham scandal. She became pregnant after being raped by Arshid Hussain. Arshid Hussain, aka Mad Ash, was the ringleader of the Rotherham gang. In 2016, Arshid was jailed for 35 years, while his brothers Basharat and Banaras were jailed for 25 and 19 years respectively. Of the 54 abused children linked to the Hussain brothers, 18 called Arshid their boyfriend. Men of Pakistani origin have been behind many of the sexual grooming cases in the UK. A 2017 report found that 84% of child sexual exploitation offenders who operate in gangs are Asians, mostly Pakistanis. Grooming is still on the rise in the UK, and dozens of victims who've been through this ordeal still await justice. This year, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak unveiled plans to create a task force to crack down on grooming gangs. But is this enough to stamp out the evil of sexual grooming in the UK? And will the government act despite political pressure? What are your views on this? Let me know in the comments.
So this guy had some decent coverage on what is actually going on here, and we see that so many of these sexual crime gangs are not the actual British people. They are people from another land. And I will go more into a bit of their culture later on in the video. But now that you have an idea of what some of these people are going out and fucking doing, these disgusting, despicable, heinous acts, we can get further on into the video and just have an idea of what the hell they are doing. Now we have another video here from GB News, Great Britain News, and they are talking about something that happened in Germany, where a rape victim was jailed. A rape victim was jailed for calling her migrant rapist a pig over text. What in the actual fuck is this? I don't understand. Let's get into this.
A recent hate crime conviction in Germany really shocked me and showed how Western society holds hate crimes to be much worse than actual crimes, even the gang rape of a child. So this stemmed from a horrific rape case. A drunk 15-year-old girl was raped by a group of men in a park in Hamburg. The rapist stole her wallet and phone, so she was unable to call the police or her friends. There are reports that the attack was filmed and shared on WhatsApp, calling nearby friends of the rapists to come and join in. And they did. When the police examined her, they recovered DNA from 9 different men. The rapists were a smorgasbord of identities, with an Egyptian, a Libyan, a Kuwaiti, a Pole, an Iranian, an Armenian, an Afghan, a Syrian, and a Montenegrin. Only one of them was given any jail time, however. Germans were understandably outraged about this. A 20-year-old from Hamburg got hold of one of the rapist's phone numbers and messaged him, calling him a disgraceful rapist pig and a disgusting freak. So that's a 20-year-old woman messaging a rapist, calling him a pig. The rapist went to the police, and the woman who sent this message was charged by the police for insulting the rapist. She was sentenced to a weekend in jail. Incredibly, this was a more severe sentence than the rapist himself was handed. I mean, it's not often we can say that the world's gone mad, but I think
that is absolutely disgusting, because apparently she wasn't allowed to say...
So we've heard enough here, right? The victim was jailed, spent a weekend in jail for calling her migrant rapist a pig. What in the world is going on there that causes the government to give these migrants, these amoral migrants who do not assimilate into the culture, these basically free tokens or this immunity against the actual law, and they put the law down in just beyond silly ways, amoral, disgusting ways onto people that really do not deserve it. Like the victim here did not deserve a weekend in jail after one being raped, and then secondly going out and calling her rapist a pig. Of course he's a fucking pig. It is just disgusting. Alright, we can get back into the rest of the video now that we have a bit of context as to what the government is doing here, the migrants are doing, and how the people are reacting to it, and what the government is doing to the people that are reacting. It is insane that in these countries you have the government basically allowing you, forcing you to be cucked by these disgusting migrants that want nothing to do other than to rape your wives and your daughters, and the government says you can't do a goddamn thing about it. That is not freedom. These people deserve freedom, and we need to help them stand up to get that. Now, as I had said earlier, this young girl, this woman, this hero, has become a symbol of resistance and defiance against migrant crime in the UK, and specifically in her case, Scotland. And now, one of the beautiful things that I see here is that even though that people are using AI to transform her into something a bit more like a mini-me of William Wallace, the Scottish people are taking what they know to be theirs, and they are defending it with themselves. I know this is in Spanish, but I can read it for us. It says, England. When protection falls, courage surges. A girl stands alone, with a knife in one hand and an axe in the other, and she watches a threat. It is time to hoist the colors of heroism. And whoever this Spanish lady is fucking based. This is completely correct. It is a shame that a small young girl must be the symbol here. And it is a shame that she must brandish such weapons when we could be living in a time of peace. As I had mentioned before, when these people come into a country and they do not assimilate, when you have thousands of a people from one group come into another place, another country, and they do not assimilate into that culture, and they bring their own, that is called colonization. It is the same thing that so many people freak out about with white people in our history, but this is happening right now across the world. And instead of a colonization, people are labeling it as something like a diaspora, or asylum seekers. No, these people are colonists. They are going into these beautiful countries and warping them. They are distorting them. They are changing the identity of these countries. And it is the people there, the people that call that land their home, they are the people that are truly suffering from what the government is allowing these people to do. Whether these people are legal or not, it is still a problem. Now, we are going to take a look at a couple other things that I have here before we go on to step into our last step, which I will have you guys watch with me, Elon Musk's speech to the people of the UK to stand up and fight for what is right, for freedom. Much like the little mini-me William Wallace that we have here. So here is a quick video from GB News, Great Britain News, I must believe, that this is the latest crime stats that are out for the UK, and it reveals, as he will say, it is a playground for criminals. And this is exactly what we saw in that video earlier, where this man was, I don't even want to call him a man, this monster was going around and trying to essentially corner these young girls, for one, probably to rape them, and then when he found out that he could not do it and they had weapons, he tried to get her arrested because he knew that the UK had this stupid fucking law that banned bladed weapons, essentially. Let's take a look here. This is a quick discretion from future Ramund because I had not realized, or I had forgot, that there was a video of a fucking stabbing getting ready to come up, and I did not warn you guys. If you do not want to see that, skip past the part with the train station, or the subway, I mean. Please, take care of yourself.
Do you feel more or less safe in Britain than you did a few years ago? The latest crime stats are out, and the UK, well, unfortunately, it's a playground for criminals. Crime rose a staggering 14% in the year ending December 2024. Do you remember stuff like this?
And that is 2024 alone. We're not even talking about what is going on in 2025 yet. Jesus fucking Christ. did not. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was. I forgot that was in this video. That is.
There were just shy of 55,000 incidents involving a knife in the year to December 2024. That's up 2%.
Oh,
but what about this?
Weird.
Pickpocketing up 50%. It's actually at the highest level since records began. Have you seen this potentially in your local shop? Because I certainly have. Yeah, theft up 13%. 2.9 million theft incidents in a year. Shoplifting is up. In fact, there were 500,000 offences. That's up 20%. Has something like this happened near you?
I don't think some people realize how dangerous fireworks can be. Those, they're explosives, really, is what they are. And these people are using anything that they can to sow destruction within this country.
So 36% of people experienced or witnessed antisocial behaviour in a year. 36%! The entire population of England and Wales. Mad! The sexual assault stats are grim. 1 million people were sexually assaulted. Now, statistically speaking, one would imagine in Britain the majority of perpetrators are probably going to be white. However, we are importing a lot of this problem. Foreigners are 71% more likely to commit sex crimes in Britain. That was between 2021 and 2023. In fact, this is
71% more likely for foreigners to commit sexual crimes than the people of Britain. This is exactly what I mean by, he even said it too, imported problems. Imported problems. I'm sure that you could get rid of imported problems by deporting those same exact problems.
such a big problem that a group called the Women's Safety Initiative has just been launched to expose the dangers of mass, uncontrolled immigration when it comes to women and girls here in Britain. That group shouldn't have to exist, should it, really? And it's a damning indictment that it does.
It absolutely should not.
Meanwhile, statisticians found a 50% rise, again, in things like phones being snatched, reaching the highest level ever. 33% increase in fraud cases as well. There were 54,587 incidents logged involving a sharp...
This is a bit more of a joke, right? Because this is... I mean, the stereotypes are there for a reason, right? But that much more fraud when you have the Indians coming in is a little bit curious to me. I just had somebody calling for my mother who definitely had an accent, and I could definitely tell was a scammer. It's not funny, but that kind of is.
Fraud up 33%. The annual fraud indicator estimates that we lose £219 billion to fraud every year. Just to put that into context, in 2023-2024, the Department for Health and Social Care spent $188.5 billion on health services. I mean, that's insane, isn't it? Absolutely insane. You could fund that, but just nearly twice over. When we do lock people up, sometimes we can't even keep them there.
When we were reporting, we saw a man appear on top of this fence, which you can see in the distance, which is topped with barbed wire. He jumped down to where a black vehicle was waiting for him with the car door open.
Yeah, we were doing a report there, Sophie Reaper was, on Shabana Mahmood, the Justice Minister, letting people out of prison early. Then one guy just hopped the fence, and apparently he's still on the loose. Anyway, we are now a low-trust, high-crime society. The question, of course, is this. What do we do about it? Do you feel...
A low-trust, high-crime society. This seems to follow wherever globalists and radical leftists go when they are in government. And you just have to ask the question why. I will let you guys think about that. Go answer in the comments below why you think that Whenever globalists and far leftists come into an area in the government, low trust and high crime societies follow them. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear that, because I'm sure that you guys have some very interesting things for me. And also, what should Britain or the UK as a whole do about this, alright? For one, they need to crack down on the fucking law. The law is there for a reason. And if the law is not consistently followed through with and consequences are given as they should be, then people will not give a fuck about the law. It is like in my classroom, if I do not say, here are my expectations, this is what will happen if you do not follow the expectations, and when they do not follow the expectations, if I do not give the correct punishment, the kids will either, for one, get too angry and rebel if it is too harsh, or they will not give a fuck about me and not respect me if I do not give them any punishment at all, and they will continue to be rowdy kids. And the same thing needs to be said for grown-ass people, because they will act like the way children do and not care about these things because they don't need to. There is no consequence for so many people in these places around the world, whether it is for the places that these people are originally from, or when they come into a country like Britain or many places in the UK or places in America. Like, for example, the career criminal that took Irina Zarutska's life. He was let out 14 times. And like Patrick Christie's was saying, they were letting criminals out early, and this motherfucker was just jumping the fence. I wish they had gotten the picture of him like caught on the fence or something like that. That would be amazing. But alas, we have not. Alright, here we have a post from Alex Armstrong, and he's talking about in the UK how so many crimes go unsolved. You know, I'm not entirely sure where he's getting these statistics from, because I know that not all statistics can be believed, especially when you know that there are people that are actively tampering with them, because there is definitely that to be the case. I see it in science sometimes, I see it in the political world so many times. Now he says that 76% of burglaries go unsolved. 89% of rapes go unsolved. What the fuck? That is actually insane. 56% of all shoplifting goes unsolved. There are cameras everywhere. How? I would not be surprised if the UK had automatic blurring features on their cameras, so that way they were not able to catch the race and identities of the people that were committing crimes. 75% of all car thefts go unsolved. He says the UK is fast becoming a totalitarian nightmare where citizens are targeted over hard native and foreign criminals. And he's exactly right. If we take a look at that young girl, she was targeted for brandishing a weapon, right, in defense of herself and her younger sister, when the actual criminal was not. It is fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. And if we take a look at this here, this is the male, right? There's thousands of real criminals go uninvestigated. My chair almost broke again. Good fucking lord. Alright. 2 detectives call on a grandmother. Her crime? What could you guess? She went on Facebook to criticize labor counselors at I forget that the British people spell everything wrong. She went to criticize labor counselors at center of the Hope You Die WhatsApp scandal exposed by the MOS. And it says, come out. It's the thought police. Right, I heard about this incident where there was a man and a woman that were praying outside of an abortion clinic, right? It might have just been the man, I do not entirely remember. That would go and pray outside of an abortion clinic for the child that he had lost to abortion so long ago. At the time, it could have been different for him, but sure, you know, losing a child is hard for, well, I would say anyone, but some people love to kill babies, and it is fucking disgusting. And he was arrested for praying outside of this abortion clinic. Literally, this is something that he was doing in his head. And he was arrested for this. And I've heard that there possibly might be people that could be arrested in their homes for praying or doing whatever, for fucking thinking, right? If they live close enough to certain buildings, whether it was an abortion clinic, perhaps a mosque, or some sort of, probably not a Christian church, because a lot of governments do not care about Christianity anymore for some reason. I don't understand why. Probably, honestly, because so much of the government around the world hates white people. And this is not just me saying this because I'm white. This is because I can use my fucking eyeballs, right? And there was one time in my life when, I know I'm getting a little sidetracked, right? But there was one time in my life when a boss of mine told me that she almost did not hire me because I'm white. And I had lost so much respect for her. I love her to death still, but holy fuck, everyone that works at that place is white. I don't understand why you cut the line at me and then for one tell me that, because it was during the time of DEI, so I probably could not have gotten her fucked up, right? Yeah. Stupid things, right? And I guess I bring this up because it is targeting normal citizens over the hard native and foreign criminals. People that most likely do not need to be targeted are getting the aggro instead of the people that deserve it. Fucking ridiculous. Okay, and that grandma that was talking about the labor counselor, I believe this is the same guy that she was talking about, right? So Jack Green says, a reminder that this ex-labor counselor who labeled people Nazis and fascists and called for their throats to be cut during civil unrest was found not guilty for inciting violence. Remember that when the next Charlie Kirk is murdered in the UK. This is so dumb. Let us take a listen to him talking about slitting people's throats.
We've got children and women using those trains to stealing some relatives. They are disgusting, nasty bastards, and we need to cut all their throats and get rid of them all. I'm going to say thank you all. I'm going to leave it now. And free!
He was hitting so many marks all at once. So many. But literally, so calling for people's throats to be cut and slit? What the fuck? How was he not found guilty for inciting violence when that was literally what he was doing? He was literally saying for people to go out and slit these people's throats. Do you not remember that I said I am a heathen, right? Not even I would do this. That's fucking despicable. This is another pretty crazy one, alright? You know, dude, I get it. I don't agree with Trump on everything. I thank the gods he's still alive because I don't want anybody to fucking die because of what they believe in. Objectively, he has done a pretty good job running our country for the past, I don't even know how long it's been. It feels like it's been years since he just started his last term because so much shit has happened. But in the UK, as Ian Miles Chung, I believe I'm saying that right, I hope so. In the UK, leftists marched around with a bloodied effigy of Trump, its head crowned with a cap that read, "Make fascists afraid again." The whole display was grotesque, celebrating violence while pretending it's righteous resistance. They love to do this. They absolutely love to do this. Where they go around parading things like, let me cut your fucking throat open if you're a fascist or a Nazi. Or let me go in and put a bullet in Trump's head like they tried to. Or, for the love of all the gods, let me kill Charlie Kirk. Right? And these people go around and they celebrate, they dance and spit on graves. And let's take a look at this. This is disgusting. Like I was saying earlier, right? I get that some people don't agree with Trump, and like I said, I don't always agree with him either. There are things that he could do better. Like, for one, release the fucking Epstein files. I don't understand why that hasn't been done. I think everyone can agree on that, right? And I feel like a lot of people on the right, when they still hold the people accountable. Like when Pam Bondi was saying that hate speech should be cracked down upon. No, we have free speech in America that should not be cracked down upon. It should have social consequences, but it should not have judicial consequences. It should not be pulled into a court just because someone said that they hate white people, or they hate black people, or they think that somebody is a fucking retard, right? That's no. You are free to say that stuff in America, right? You're just not free to go and say that this person should be killed, or I'm going to kill this person, or anything like that. These people are literally dragging him around, and they're wearing the American flag. Let me see again what this said, right? Kick out Trump's nukes, and with a peace sign. With a peace sign, as they're literally dragging what is supposed to be his dead body across the road. Isn't that ironic? That these people clearly do not understand the significance of what the fuck they are saying. Let me preach peace while I carry the effigy of a dead leader behind me. Add that to the comments below of just the incredibly stupid things that these people do. Let me know your thoughts on this. This is fucking ridiculous. Okay, so this is a quick clip about how I mentioned Pam Bondi was talking about cracking down on free speech, and I believe this is Megyn Kelly, right? I don't know which news network she is from, but she's calling Pam out, right? And from what I know, Megyn Kelly is part of, or at least aligned or associated with the right, and she's trying to keep us accountable, which is fantastic. We need people like this, and that's one reason why I feel like the right is often so much more cohesive than the left, and we don't cannibalize each other because we don't need to. If you fuck up, we will tell each other, and we'll do it in a way that does not incite the killing of the other person. Sort of mostly civilized people, civil people. Granted, there are always crazy people on the right, like Candace Owens, who thinks that Jews put dinosaur bones in the earth to confuse people and lead them to Satan or some bullshit like that. I think I've heard Nuxanor talk about that plenty of times. Go check his channel out. He talks about some crazy shit. He's crazy too, and a Jew, which is fantastic, right? Many things wrapped up into one. I'll link his channel in the description below.
Bondi said one of the dumbest things you can say as an attorney general. Do we have it here? I'm looking on my SOT list. Yeah, here it is. She went on Fox News and she went on this podcast with someone named Katie Miller. It's unbelievable. There was absolutely no pushback, but here's what Pam said in SOT 18.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people, so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
Okay, so that is Stephen Miller's wife, my team reminds me. And while her husband fully understands the law, honestly, while her husband fully understands the law and has been behind the most critical policies of the Trump administration that have been very successful, she clearly doesn't, and she doesn't understand the conservative movement, or she would not have asked that question. What kind of a question is that? It was completely teed up in a way that sounds like a lefty. Are you going to crack down on hate speech? What the fuck? That is not a question that a conservative would ask. I don't understand what's happening there. And then for Pam Bondi to not say, whoa, sister, we on the right do not crack down on hate speech. We don't believe in that nonsense. Pam Bondi said one.
Right, so Megyn has this correct. So even after the terrible event that took Charlie Kirk's life because of that
weird furry motherfucker. I can't even remember his name at the moment. Tyler Robinson, right? You are still free to say whatever bad things you want about Charlie. I know a lot of people that don't agree with things that he said, right? A lot of people have shit wrong or backwards or not the full context because nobody cares to do any research. Nobody cares to do a quick search to try to prove themselves wrong, because who wants to prove themselves wrong, right? Especially when you're on the left and you don't care about what is actually real and you just want to, excuse me, the far left, right? You don't want to pop the bubble of your own narrative, right? Your own worldview. And as much as I would not like to hear bad speech about Charlie, or really most people, you're free to do that. We should not be cracking down on the hate speech, not on a law level, right? And this person says, let's see. This person says the government should not be involved unless it's a threat of violence. And yeah, I 100% agree. People can say whatever the fuck they want to each other, because we're people, right? We're free to do that. But the moment that you start to threaten somebody's life, now you're done. You don't do that. That's you break the law at that point. So this is a quick video from Make Britain Great Again. Pretty good name. But it says, "Dear crazy leftists, we are not the same. You say words are violence. Then you burn cities and shoot people in the neck. You call us fascists while serving the real tyrants. We are not the same, and we will never be." And I can take these words and say them myself. I could not have said it any better, right? Let us see what this lady has to say.
You said no kings, but you're the ones who lined up behind the real tyrants. You scream fascist at us while you defend the ones who silence truth with a gun. You call us Nazis while you turn a blind eye to paedophilia, rape, and the destruction of innocence. You say words are violence, then use actual violence to destroy cities and shoot people in the neck. You stand with those who poison minds and shred families, and then you dare...
One thing, I've had a couple arguments with, I guess discussions really, about violence on the left and the right. And the left will always bring up Gen 6. That is their go-to for whatever political violence has been brought on the right. And should Gen 6 have happened? No, absolutely not. However, that is like the only example that they can ever use, because what other examples are there? Please, if you have some, drop them in the comments below, because I want to know. Enlighten me. I love to call out the retards on either side, right? Because that needs to be done. But at the same time, you look at the BLM riots and compare that to Gen 6. Those are not the same. Those people were fucking burning down cities. That was insane. Literally fucking insane. Now, Gen 6 was still terrible, but for another difference, right, is that so many people in Gen 6 were arrested. Many people that did not need to be, especially the peaceful protesters, right? The people that were causing violence and destroying things, yeah, arrest those stupid motherfuckers. They deserve it. They broke the law, especially at the Capitol, right? It is a beautiful symbol of our country here in the United States of America. But the peaceful protesters, man, do not throw them in jail. And they were in jail until Trump pardoned them. I have no idea how long they would have gotten. But how many BLM rioters and protesters were jailed, were thrown in prison for the immense arson and theft and probably murder that they caused? I mean, I actually don't know, but I guarantee you it's probably nowhere near the percentage relative-wise to the people from Gen 6.
Call us the extremists. No more. You say we're the problem. Well, we're the ones who stand for truth. We're the ones who refuse to bow to your warped reality. You label us with every ugly word you can muster, but at the end of the day, we're the ones who won't be intimidated into silence, and we're the ones who hold vigils when someone's killed. We're not the same, and we never will be. You want to know what side of history you're on? You're on the wrong side, but you're on the side that will never stop the truth. And we'll keep speaking it. We're here, and we're not backing down. Okay, thanks, bye. You said no kings, but you're the ones who lined up behind...
That is very true. That is one of the sole reasons why I started this channel, is to speak what I see to be the truth. And the truth of the matter is that, like this lady said, we hold vigils for when people pass or when people are killed. And these people go to those same vigils that we hold and try to destroy them. It is insane, the level of crash out that the people on the left can have. Okay, now I'm not entirely sure who this is, but he says some insane things here about some statistics here.
In the whole of England and Wales, it's 150 stabbings a day now, and it's risen 90% on a 10-year period. That's the whole of the UK. 150 a day, 47 of which would probably be in London, and we are going backwards. Why, and what is the solution? And will you just accept we need stop and search?
So, 150 stabbings daily, up 90% in just a decade. Now, sure, I can only imagine that some of these are the actual peoples of Britain that are going out and stabbing people, but like we saw on the train, oh my... What? That is crazy. People just... For a long time, I did not understand why so many stabbings happen in subways or trains specifically. And I was thinking earlier, people don't have a place to run in a train. And so cornering somebody in a train is just so despicable and cowardly. Cowardly! You're a fucking coward if you have to corner somebody so that they cannot get away from you and that it's harder for them to fight back. And then it shows how the people feel. Like when Irina Zaruska was violently murdered. Nobody did anything. Nobody did anything. God, if I was there, I would have beat the fuck out of that guy, right? And I know that so many other people would have as well. Oh my dear gods, it is insane. So this is another video showing just how many people have gathered in the UK as the Brits are fed up with censorship. I'm reading. And so this is another post here just to show you. We're not going to watch the whole video. Don't worry. This is from Dennis Michael Lynch. It says that millions gather in the UK as Brits are fed up with the censorship, the mass immigration, and Islamic prayers in the streets, migrant violence. The list is long, right? It is definitely long what the Brits are fed up with. And I used to make so many jokes about the British not being real people, but god damn, they have really proved themselves to me and so many others across the world that they will really stand up for what they believe in and that they will not be pushed around anymore. They are good people. Let us take a look here. Take a look and see just how many people are gathering. This is insane. There are so many people. Look at this. These people are fed up. They do not want to be under the reign of tyranny. They do not want to be under the reign of leaders that worship foreign ways of life. Now this is the very last thing that I want us to watch together in this video, and this is Elon Musk's speech to the people of the UK, and it is about 20 minutes long as we see here, but it is worth every single minute of it. Now, whatever gripes you have with Elon, he's autistic as fuck, right? He says some things, he does some things that normal people probably would not or should not be doing, right? And so certain things like that need to be taken into account, but here not so much. He's fucking on fire here. So let's take a listen.
We all need to thank today. This would not have happened without the next gentleman who I want to bring out here to speak to for 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
I like this guy too. I cannot remember what his name is, but he's pretty motivational for the peoples. I wish I could put on subtitles because I don't fucking understand how the British people speak.
Hello. Okay, congratulations. Congratulations, Tommy, on putting together an amazing event and really rallying the people of Britain.
Elon, none of this could have happened without you giving the British public access to the truth and giving us free speech and fighting for our free speech. So on behalf of Great Britain and the British public, we're incredibly grateful, Elon.
You're most welcome.
So this is one thing. So this guy is thanking Elon for giving them free speech. I really do not believe the world would be in the place that it is now, right, on the brink of revolution, if Elon had not bought Twitter and transformed it into X, right? If he had not bought this platform, how would we know what is going on? How would we know? Like, I know that there are always places on the internet that people can go and put things, but Elon has really been a champion of free speech in this sense that people have this platform where they can say whatever the fuck they want. And granted, the platform still has some issues, right? For example, like the AI was calling itself Mega Hitler for a time. And I don't know where the fuck that came from, right? But it was that was insane. So I will try not to interrupt this video too much.
You're most welcome. And you may notice this T-shirt that I'm wearing. It's great British author George Orwell. What would Orwell think? I think that's generally a good way to look at these things. He would want freedom of speech. He would want the people to know what's real. He'd want the people to fight against government oppression and fight for the truth and fight for the future of Britain.
Elon, we are incredibly grateful for your time. We know what a busy man you are. Why is it important for you to be here today speaking at this United Kingdom event?
Well, I'm of primarily British heritage, British ancestry. I want Britain to be greater than it ever has been. I want Britain to remain Britain. I think there's something beautiful about being British. And,
remaining Britain is a huge thing, as I mentioned, with the colonization of Britain by
a destruction
these foreigners.
Initially a slow erosion, but a rapidly increasing erosion of Britain, with massive uncontrolled migration, a failure by the government to protect innocent people, including children, who are getting gang raped. It's unreal. The government has failed in its duty to protect its citizens, which is a fundamental duty of government. This has got to stop. There needs to be massive government reform in Britain. And the people need to be in charge, not some bureaucracy that doesn't care.
Elon, I believe that's what we've started today. Powered by the people, sending a message worldwide. Elon, you spend an incredible lot of money on X. Why is free speech so important to you?
Well, I believe you can't get to the truth of things without freedom of speech, without active debate. There's so many on the left that want to just crush debate and put people in prison just for talking, as you were, just for speaking their mind. The essence of democracy is it should be a government for the people, by the people, and in fact, this is a government against the people and not for the people.
I want to mention really quick, this is exactly what would have happened to us in America if Kamala had been voted as the president. Thank goodness she was not. She had mentioned it directly that she thinks that people's speech needs to be regulated. The words that came out of her mouth, thank goodness she was not elected. We would not be anywhere as free as we are now if she had been elected. That is fascism. That is fascism.
This is why everyone is gathered here today, is something's got to be done. This is unacceptable. The government needs to be responsible to the people of Britain. It needs to protect Britain. It needs to protect the weak, those who cannot protect themselves, especially the children. And when I read about some of the horrific stories and how the government did nothing and tried to hide it, they try to hide these horrific crimes. And then you see how much violence there's on the left, with our friend Charlie Kirk getting murdered in cold blood this week, and people on the left celebrating it openly. The left is the party of murder and celebrating murder. I mean, let that sink in for a minute. That's who we're dealing with here. That is who we're dealing with.
To so many of the British public who are scared to exercise their free speech. They're worried about being imprisoned, they're worried about being attacked, even to share their speech on your platform events. What message would you give to them?
And the message is really, my message is to the reasonable centre. The common sense. So my appeal is to British common sense, which is to look carefully around you and say, if this continues, what world will you be living in? This is a message to the reasonable centre, the people who ordinarily wouldn't get involved in politics, who just want to live their lives. They're quiet. They just go about their business. My message is to them: if this continues, that violence is going to come to you. You will have no choice. You're in a fundamental situation here where whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you. You either fight back or you die. You either fight back or you die.
That part, it just gives me chills, because he is correct. And I've seen a lot of people use that specific comment to say that he is inciting violence. I swear to the gods that so many of the things that come out of the people's mouths that are on the far left are projections. They are trying to say that everything we do is everything that they are actually doing. And Elon is right. He's right. If you are coming in, if you are in your home or wherever you are, and violence is coming your way, if there are people that are coming in and raping the people that you love, that are coming in and stabbing you to death, that are coming in and stealing everything that you have, you need to fight back. You need to fight back, or else they will turn you over on your belly and take every single thing that is important to you. They will take your families, they will take your belongings, they will take your lives. Elon is right here. We need to protect ourselves from the evils in the world. I'm tired of left versus right, or whatever bullshit there is. This is good versus evil. I feel like every now and then in the world there are some things that really show us, wow, this goes beyond what is typical. Fighting is typical, right? It happens all the time. It is part of being human. Fighting is. But this is so much more. This is so much more. This has forced so many people to, like, Elon had said to take a look at the world around you, to ask yourself what kind of world you will be in if this continues. And this truly is a good versus evil thing. It is why I've had to come and speak to you as well.
That's the truth.
Today, Elon, I think the British public are telling the world that they're ready to fight back.
Good. Yes.
Come on, Redbeard.
That is what I mean when I say Elon is autistic as fuck. He just I have to watch that again.
That's the truth.
Today, Elon, I think the British public are telling the world that they're ready to fight back.
Good. Yes.
Come on, Redbeard.
Oh, I love it. It is a patriotic artist. Yeah, this is fantastic.
About woke culture, the woke mind virus, and how it damages innovation and freedom of thought. We know that DEI often sees people getting jobs when they definitely don't deserve them. Do you think this culture is holding back progress in the West? And what do you think needs to happen to reverse it?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm appealing to sort of common sense and fairness. I want to emphasize just common sense and fairness, which is that we should make our decisions based on merit, on how, if somebody is talented and hardworking, then that should be the only means of advancement. There should not be discrimination on the basis of sex or religion or any race or anything else. And what a lot of the woke stuff is, it's actually super racist, it's super sexist, and it's often it's anti-religion, but only anti-Christian. Like, why only anti-Christian? That's
Exactly like I was
fair.
saying. And like when my old boss told me that they almost didn't hire me because I'm white.
Is to the reasonable middle. Do you not want a world where there is fairness and common sense, and you advance as a function of how hard you work and your talent and your integrity? That should be all that matters. And the woke blind virus that I call it is against all of that. It's wrong.
We hear so much about censorship being pushed by governments and global corporations and organisations. A lot of people don't understand why we're allowing mass uncontrolled immigration into all Western nations. Do you believe that there are powerful forces outside of elected officials, someone controlling governments, that are trying to control the flow of information, and how do we resist that pressure?
Yeah, I think when you look at the behavior of organizations or people, you have to say, what is the incentive for these organizations? And frankly, there's a massive incentive on the left to import voters. So if they can't convince their nation to vote for them, they're going to import people from other nations to vote for them. This is a massive factor. And frankly, it's a strategy that will succeed if it is not stopped. Thus far, it is succeeding. And you see strong movements to allow people who are not from Britain to vote in Britain, to allow people who are not from France or elsewhere to vote in those countries. And thus depriving the citizens of their democratic power. It's really a voter importation thing, and if they're allowed to succeed, if this is allowed to continue, they will succeed in importing voters, swaying the elections, and taking your vote away from you. That is 100% what is happening.
You know what's great?
It is so true. That was happening, that was working in America until we finally pulled our heads out of our asses and realized that was not right. We need Americans voting in America. We need Britons and Scots and Welsh voting in the UK, because that is the people that live out, and the Irish, right? It is the people that live there. You should not be bringing in other people that are not even, don't share your culture and don't even care enough to assimilate. You should not have those people voting for you. They will not vote in your best interest. They will vote in their best interest. And they will vote to change that country to whatever way they want it to be. And it will probably degrade that country.
BBC and the mass media cannot control this, can they?
I mean, the BBC is complicit in the destruction of Britain.
We pay for it, Elon. We pay for it.
Yes.
We're forced to pay for it. Do you know they send us to jail if we don't pay for it?
You're forced to pay for your own destruction. It's insane. It's unfair. It is wrong.
Elon, a lot of ordinary people that are here today, they feel ignored, they feel censored, or they're labelled just for speaking up about their legitimate fears and concerns in their communities. Do you believe technology, like X, or even AI, can finally give power back to those people? Or do you think it will make censorship worse, or even automate it?
I mean, that's a complicated question. It really depends on what government is in charge. The government can obviously use whatever powers are available to suppress the people. And so I really think there's got to be a change of government in Britain. And you can't, we don't have another 4 years or whatever the next election is. It's too long. Something's got to be done.
You should make J.D. Vance the Prime Minister. That's all I'm saying.
Really, what matters is rallying the people of Britain, really getting the people of Britain to get the message out there, talk to your friends and family, and build a massive power base among the people. And like I said, you really got to appeal to the sort of average, the normal people that just want to go about their business. That they're sort of in a village somewhere, they're working, they just want to mind their own business. But you've got to point out to them that if we don't take action, they won't be able to mind their own business because other people are going to come and maraud them. There's genuine risk of rape and murder, and the destruction of the country, and dissolution of the entire way of life. And so, yes, in the normal course of business, if things were, if you weren't under a massive attack, then people should go about their business and just live their lives. But unfortunately, if the fight comes to you, you don't have a choice. You have to fight. So you have to rally all of the people of Britain to fight for the future.
Let me ask
and if
people
this
of
doesn't
Britain,
happen, there won't be a future.
are you ready to fight for your future, Britain?
Fight for
God, I
your
love
future.
that.
Do it. Go.
Elon is so.
Any longer, Britain?
You know what I mean? That's I talk to my friends in Britain, and they're like, yes, they're living in a village here or there, or a town or city here or there, and they're like, well, it doesn't seem like it's really that much of a problem. I'm like, well, if you want to know what's going to happen to your town or village, just visit London, and you'll see that it's filled with crime. It often doesn't feel like Britain at all, and it's only a matter of time before that is what happens to your town or village. It starts in London, but it will.
He's right. I saw a video earlier that was going through and talking to, I think it said it was like the whitest town in the UK, and a lot of the people had these ideas that they're like, oh yes, immigration is good. They're just coming in here to work and have a better life, and it's sweet, in some sense, to see people like that because they have not seen the ill side of immigration, and they're still believing in the good hearts of humankind and people that want to just form better lives. But that's just not always the case, and with so many places and so many times, like London, it's just being ravaged, absolutely ravaged by immigrants. And it is not to say, I'm not saying that all immigrants are bad. the world would not be the same if people don't migrate, right? And there would be so many places that don't have the same things, same good things that they have now if it wasn't for migration. However, at the same time, when you bring disgusting people in from disgusting places, they're going to make your place disgusting. It's just how disgusting people are.
Spread to every town and village in the country, and no one will have any peace.
Running out of time, people. Running out of time. Elon, you
Yes.
built rockets, you built cars, you built satellites, you built AI. Things most of us couldn't dream of. It's fair to say you're a visionary.
I'd love to go to
When
Mars.
you look at leaders in Europe and the UK today, do you think they share the same talent for future vision, or do you feel like they'll be left behind and out of touch?
Well, I think we've got to have a freer country, a freer, Europe in general has to be freer. It's stifled by bureaucracy. I think it's good that Britain left the EU because there's just too much bureaucracy in the EU. But frankly, instead of really going down a path of personal freedom and deregulation and getting rid of these stifling regulations, unfortunately, the British government has pretty much stayed on par with the EU, if not in some ways made the stifling regulation worse. If you have excess government regulation and oppression, you stifle the freedom of people to try new and great ideas. And Britain used to be a country that did amazing things, some of the boldest things on the entire planet, and that is possible in the future. But it can't be done if you've got this massive oppressive bureaucracy and a government that doesn't care about its people. And that has to change. There has to be profound change. And there's not much time left.
Elon, you've said before that civilization is fragile. We agree.
Yes.
It's precious. When you look at the West right now, every country in the West, with its wars, its divisions, its censorship, and its declining trust in institutions, none of us trust them at all. None of the public trust them.
For good reason.
Are you optimistic or pessimistic about where we are heading?
I think if the people of Britain take charge and actually ensure that there's a government that represents their interests and not a government that represents foreign interests, then I think Britain has a great future. And I think we can be optimistic. I think there's amazing things that are possible. If the technology that's coming is used in the right way, we can have an incredibly exciting future, one which is, sort of Star Trek made real. It's sort of like the exciting utopian sci-fi where we have spaceships and we've got robots and we've got incredible technologies that are really exciting. But we need to preserve civilization long enough for that to happen, and we need to go onward and upward. And we need to fight for such a future. Such a future is not inevitable. We have to fight for such a future.
I think that many British people had lost hope, but after today's scene, have you got hope again, Britain? Britain is awake. Thanks to you, Elon. Thanks to your input. Can we just ask?
Well, thanks to you, Tommy.
Thank you, brother. Can we ask what do you see as the future of the UK and Europe in your vision? Where are we heading? What's the future like us?
Well, I think there needs to be a future where the people take charge, where there's deregulation, a massive reduction in bureaucracy, and generally a new hope, where people look forward, wake up in the morning and look forward to the future. They're excited about what's going to happen next. But we must have revolutionary government change for that to occur. And this is not ordinary course of business sort of stuff. This really requires everyone to sort of marshal the people, to take charge, reform the government, and make sure that you actually have a government that is for the people, by the people. And that's essential. And that's not, and so we're really at a fork in the road here. We're at a fork in the road to darkness or greatness. And that will be decided only in a matter of years. And we must take the path to greatness. And that's the path that's exciting and inspiring and will make life worth living.
Elon, you've done more than anyone to shine a torch on the crimes committed against a generation of our daughters. On behalf of everyone and on behalf of all of us in Great Britain, you know what? We wouldn't even be in the fight. Not only are we in the fight right now, but we're on the advance. Thanks to free speech being fought for us by Elon Musk. We're very grateful, sir.
You're most welcome. Thank you. All right.
Mum!
Wow.
All right, thank you.
For one, there's something about this that is exciting, right? As Elon has said, that it is exciting to have the fight between darkness and greatness. And I think that it's one of those very human things, is that we are, with the death of Charlie Kirk, we truly are at a turning point for what seems to be like the whole world. The whole world. And it's exciting. It's exciting because there is the chance that we all fall. But there is also the chance that we all rise, right? And people need something to fight for. People need to be able to fight for their freedom, for their free speech, for their freedom to express themselves, their will unto the world. But if they express an ill or a violent will, then we need to deal with that. Justly so. And Elon had mentioned something very important about the future of Britain, that there needs to be extreme change. And this change needs to be leaders that follow native and national ideologies and views, not foreign views. And that will be what keeps Britain as Britain. And I'm really proud of Elon for what he has said here. I sometimes view him as this kind of, I want to view him as chaotic good at times, where sometimes he gets himself into trouble by doing something that he probably believes to be right, and he gets shit on for it, and sometimes probably justly so, right? But things like this is, I feel like, objectively such a good thing that he is going out and helping the people of the UK to stand up for their freedom. It is a beautiful thing what he has done here for these people, and what these people are doing for themselves. They're standing up for who they are, what they want to be, and what they have been for so long. And this is fantastic. My friends, my brothers, and my sisters, I want to thank you once more for sharing your time with me today as we learned about the rape of the UK by her own government and the peoples that are coming in and colonizing her beautiful lands. I want to close us out with a reading of a few stanzas from the Havamal, specifically a section known as the Lodfafnismal, a part in which Odin is giving good counsel to the seeker of wisdom known as Lodfafnir. I will give you a shortened version because it does say the same thing over and over a few times. I don't want to bog you down. I counsel you, Lodfafnir, if you'll take my advice, you'll profit if you learn it. It'll do you good if you remember it. Never be the first to break friendship with your friend. Sadness will eat up your heart if you have no one you can talk to. You should never exchange words with someone who won't see reason. You will never get a good reward for speaking with a bad man, but a good man will make you happy with his praise. Men become friends when they can share their minds with one another. Anything is better than being lied to. A real friend will disagree with you openly. Never be glad to hear bad news, but be cheerful about good news.
There is always something to learn within the ancient wisdom of the old graybeard Odin himself, and many of his words, despite being over 1,000 years old, are still applicable today. We should not be celebrating such terrible things, and we should be kind to one another, but be kind to ourselves. Step with caution, my friends. You never know what dangers may lurk around the corner. Now remember, friends, as you walk through the wild world that is our lives, I want you to find a way or make one. This is Ramund Redbeard, signing out. Oh, and before I go, please like, comment, and subscribe. I want to hear everything about your thoughts on this topic, about what is going on in the UK and Europe in general. Was this video better than the last one? And please, again, smash that freaking bell with the biggest hammer that you have, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. This is Ramund Redbeard, actually signing out this time.